Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's another episode of Venture Maidens. Where are we? 47. Can you believe it? We're so close to 50, you guys.
Oh my gosh. We'll be 50 and fresh before we even know it.
Sometimes when I think, oh man, I don't know where we are in, Favor, I think back to Fate, where we were at 50, and I feel really good about where we are in Favor. I feel like we're on our shit.
That's good.
We're, mastering our abilities. I don't know. How do you guys feel? Progress feeling?
Yeah.
I feel like a bona fide mover and shaker in this world.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, and I feel like we're
totally
still... is. Right? Well, I think even Tony and Lou, we're finding our asses, I think, a lot earlier than we were last time. Well, I think, though, I mean, Katie, you were just coming in around 50, 51.
I was 54, girl. I remember.
Oh, man.
There I was.
So we're getting
hitting
to the
on
good
Carl.
Shit. Yeah.
Oh, what a different time.
So it's almost your 100th episode.
Holy shit.
I know, when we say 100th episode for Favor, all the parts.
The bonus episodes and whatever. Whatever.
Yeah,
All
100
right.
episodes. Congratulations.
We gotta throw me a 100th episode birthday party when we reach it.
We'll have
I love it.
sweet cupcakes, a weird 69 episode like we had. It'll be all good. It'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
right.
welcome everyone. This is the Venture Maidens. We are a D&D 5e / Tales of the Valiant stream that converts to a podcast. I will say this is a very adult-themed stream, so obviously language, sexual content. Also, we just keep a general content warning up for body horror, just to cover, graphic fantasy violence, descriptions, things of that nature. I do not anticipate any additional content warnings for this episode, but if you are watching, be sure to check the chat for content warnings in case something comes up during recording. If you are listening in podcast form, just check the show notes there, just to be extra sure. But other than that, I think that's it. We're on a double recording, boys, so let's just, dig in. Hey everybody, my name is Celeste Conowitch, and tonight I will be your dungeon master.
Hello, I am Katie, not muted Budabin, and I am going to be playing Luvery's Sath, your drow rogue.
Hello, I'm Nassim. I'm your half-orc fighter / druid, also cat mother, who's gonna be bouncing around trying to placate her child tonight.
It's the eternal and continual struggle. And I am Sage, and I am your slightly bitter bard, Aoife Flannery.
Oh yeah, there was some weird shade drama last time over some failed insight checks. It got a little hot between Rook and our dear Aoife here, but...
And not in a fun way.
Yeah, not in a fun way. Not hot, sexy, hot, spicy, bad spicy. Ordering a level 10 when you meant a level 2 spicy. So yeah, let's hear all about it before we dig in, everybody. Let's get that sweet recap of what happened last time on Venture Maidens.
Hold on to your butt, Sage. I got this. Okay, so
Katie,
last time...
Bam! Take a point of inspiration.
I already have one. I never use it in Parenthood. Anyway.
Wow. Hair flip.
Last time... We were in the chicken hut, and we had Ravane in tow, and we were headed over towards the Blossom Court to go make some deals and try to get people together, essentially, in order to fight the bigger evil, Hecate. We had some breakfast, and during the breakfast, Aoife came out, and she was back to being mortal, which really set off Rook. Because Rook has obviously been struggling with being a fae and then immortal, but having no way to change this. So she left upset and went to her room.
And on top of that, a weird aging thing. So she's not just a normal mortal, by the way. Worse. A super cursed mortal, let's just say.
So Lou went up to check on her with her breakfast and had a conversation with her. Got to get our first glimpse in the Rook room. And basically talked to her about it, was like, hey, I know that this is hard. It is, and your feelings are super valid. You know, we're here to help you get through it as we can. You know, as we see anything that can help, we will do what we can to help you. And Rook was like, well, you're vomiting positivity, but I appreciate you nonetheless. And Rook was like, that's fucking fair. So went back downstairs, and then we basically unloaded and went to go meet up with the Blossom Court, where we saw this big gold gate that had all these giant flowers and vines entangled in it. And Tony went up to this gate and basically said, hey, can we get in here? And they were like, oh, well, maybe, but you have all those little friends with you. And we were like, what friends? And then we turn around to see this humanoid form wearing an owl mask, who asked us what we were doing there. And we told it exactly what we were doing there. And they were like, okay, well, I don't know why you would waste your time with the Blossom Court, but we're going to test you. And all of a sudden we had a werebear, a wereboar, a weretiger, a werewolf. Right? That was all
And
of
a
them?
were-rat.
And a wererat.
And a wererat. All came down and started to fight us. We decided to use non-lethal damage. And thank God Ravane was there, because I don't want to fucking fight a weretiger. And he
Such
held
a
us
high
up.
CR, you guys. No joke. You thought the bear
so-
was scary. Yeah.
I somehow I got out of that fight without a single hit point missing, but I don't know
It's
how.
just true for you. No one
Literally
else.
only me. Everyone else got, what did you say? Their guts fucked up? I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, point is, Ravane was fine. We were all fine in the end, barely. And then they were like, well, you know, you can come and meet our leader, the Huntress, because you passed this test. And we were like, dude, sick. Please leave now,
Sick,
because
nasty.
we're fucked up. And during that fight, Rook got cursed with lycanthropy, but they gave us a scroll that can remove the curse, but it is up to her what she wants to do. And that's where we left off.
Yeah, good shit. Yeah. That's good. Good place to pick up. Feel like you all got a little bit bloodied, except for Lou, I guess. Just, survived everything. But Tony, you're not feeling great after duking it out with a literal grizzly bear for most of that.
And
Aoife,
facing like my childhood nightmares.
Yep, of lycanthropes and Aoife. All that weirdness now between you and Rook, and also your guts just torn up, kid.
For real, she was taken down. She had been dealt quite a bit of damage in that early first round of that fight. Down to only 7 HP, but she managed to heal herself back up to 19, so we're feeling a little bit better, but still looking absolutely rough.
Yeah.
And Aoife is definitely looking a little bit shaken as well, because this is her first fight after being back into her mortal form. And when she was able to face that plant creature, that Rolls Golem, and just take hits and not even feel it, not even be affected, and that her mortality is just so apparent.
Yeah. It is definitely, I think, shocking coming from an immortal body down to what you are now. I think you're feeling extra fragile on top of all the other feelings and everything you're going through, processing. It's a lot. Being reminded again in a very shocking and direct way of your own mortality. And then for the first time, too, this was due to a couple, failed insight checks. You have a very bad feeling right now about Rook. Like, this exchange that happened before, like, it read to you as a pure hatred moment from before. So that, on top of, I think, a little bit of shame probably in your own mortality, is not a good feeling as you're, like, stitching yourself back together. I assume right now we leave you all here, like, those were creatures, that masked individual had come down and, like, restored them all enough, basically healed them to, like, so they could all hobble off. And you were left now on the field right outside of this golden gate where these flowers had basically abandoned you, Tony, to like, uh-oh, sorry, doing her own thing. You just see your blood, like, splattered around this arena. Your foe's gone, and this huge task is still in front of you. That's where we're picking up. What's being said, if anything?
Tony will turn back to the flowers and say, so glad you were here to see that.
Oh, good.
If you're not out of our way when we come back, then we might have a problem.
We are so glad. And that beautiful chrysanthemum who has turned, you swear they were like kind of a white pink before, but now the sort of crimson. As you can see, these like roots dip down, into the soil that's splattered with your blood and take up a little bit of that. A little bit of that sweet nitrous, as the crimson petals range out. Oh, we're so glad you survived and managed to stave off all of that. You must truly be worthy of going into the Blossom Court.
Damn right.
Good. Well, it'll be a pleasure. These voices kind of echo around. And actually, I have totally forgotten, before we actually dive into the action of this game, we have an important announcement and administrative update for everyone. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba! After that fight, you all have leveled up! So, shame on me. While you all are, like, patching up your wounds and stuff, you realize you are so much stronger than you were before. So let's go ahead and we will talk about our level ups and stuff, and then we'll have a sweet, sweet little vision dream moment after that. But let's go around the horn here and talk about what we get now that we're level 8. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, look at us. Episode 47, level 8. Hot shit, gang. Let's do it.
Get out here.
Who wants to start?
I'll go.
Katie.
So I am taking a level of wizard now that I have passed the preliminary exams.
Yes. In accordance with our last letter, read by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yes, thank you, Sage, for that gift.
So I have decided to take my wizard level from the Tales of the Valiant version. So it's just slightly different at level 1 than the normal 5e one that people are used to. But it's cool because I get an extra spell basically right now. So I no subclass yet, just level 1. At level 1 I'm going to get Arcane Recovery and spell casting, and then the Tales of the Valiant version gives me on a separate spell list ritual spell. So I get 1 ritual spell. Then I get my 3 cantrips, and I get 6 spells in my spell book, and I can prepare 3 because I'm intelligent, but not that intelligent.
Just, yeah. So essentially, right now, what you get to pick is you get your cantrips, your spells like normal, but Tales of the Valiant separates those spells that might have been like longer casting times, things specifically that you would use outside of combat, into their own spell list. So now you are no longer forced to choose between spells that will be useful in combat, spells that will be useful in role-playing or exploration circumstances. So that's that clear divide. That also means, though, that there are no longer spells that can be both. So, for example, Detect Magic, if you take it as a normal spell, there is no way to cast Detect Magic as a ritual spell. It is something you can do instantly, and it is a spell slot, and there you go. Whereas things like Find Familiar, which you could take an hour to cast, or like vice versa, it is now just purely a ritual spell, so it's actually on a different spell list. So with that in mind, Katie, what spells did you pick? Are you ready to tell us, or are you still shopping?
Oh no, girl, you know I already did the shopping.
Come on, what spells you got, boo?
All right, so I'm trying really hard to keep things in theme with my chef thing. So I tried to pick things that I could twist in a flavor that is uniquely Lou. So I took prestidigitation.
A flavor, yeah, Sage. I know you were muted, but I saw it in your eyes.
Shut up!
In your eyes, I didn't even need words to acknowledge that. Not a punness, whatever. I don't even need your words to terrorize me anymore. I can see it in your eyes.
If I had the power to give you inspiration, Sage, I would.
You don't. You don't.
Okay, well, now that I'm done being bullied, I'll continue.
Yeah.
Then I got Firebolt, and I got Ray of Frost for cantrips. And then for level 1 spells, I did Grease.
Yep.
I did Burning Hands, Sleep, Shield. I just had to take it.
Yeah. So good. Why not?
Yeah. For real. I did Fog Cloud, and then from the Venture Maidens campaign guide, I picked Scald.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then for my ritual spell, I picked Create Familiar because I am a slut for having a pet in a game. So.
Do you want to talk a little bit about why Create Familiar is a little bit different than Find Familiar in 5e? Because Create Familiar is purely TOV.
Yeah, so this is a little different. Where did I put my thing here?
I think the big thing is it's a construct, essentially, instead of a fae or fiend or whatever from the original
And I
spell.
loved the little flavor of it being like made from you, because you basically have to give it like a little bit of yourself. So the whole time that the construct exists, you have 1 hit point down from your max, because you're basically like giving it
It's
your
reduced
life,
from
a
your
spark of
max,
life.
reduced from your current, like forever, as long as the thing exists.
And then as soon as it's destroyed, it pops back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool. And also the cool thing that I found while I was doing it is that the familiars that you can choose in Tales of the Valiant, like they just have like a little bit more than what I had in 5e. Celeste, I immediately was like, so Celeste, I would like something not on this list.
Yes.
How do you feel about this? Yeah. So she used, I really want to have a bunny. So she used a combination of, I think it was the badger.
Yeah, the Tales of the Valiant, the badger, and the cat. Oh, no, and the frog to give you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that way I could have something that had a burrow speed and had a jumping ability. So now I will have a bunny.
Yeah, it's also nice, the Create Familiar, because both spells still exist in TOV. So if you're a warlock, for instance, you would cast Find Familiar, and you would get a fae or, an undead or whatever it is. But Create Familiar is something particular to wizards, so they actually burn a piece of themselves, 1 HP, to make this thing, and that reduction exists as long as it is. It is also something, too, a minor difference is the thing actually can absorb into your skin and come out of your body, so it's not going to an extra dimensional place. It also means it regenerates, like, regardless of you, like, it reforms from your blood and flesh, so it's more of a homunculus in the mythological sense than it was previously, like, or for the Find Familiar condition. It also reforms naturally if it dies. It actually will regenerate, build its own flesh and tissue, and come back together on its own if you don't resummon it. So that's sort of just a little interesting twist that is exclusively available to wizards. So a little bit different, but we got a cool bunny lad. And you had a name for it, right?
I do. Its name's gonna be Rhubarb.
Oh,
Ruby
God.
for short.
So fucking cute, ridiculous. All right, we officially have a pet now. We have become a D&D podcast. We have a pet in the party. Thank God. I was waiting for you all.
Honestly, I was like, where is this
Where
campaign
is
going?
this? Nothing makes sense.
Speak for
Weird.
yourself. I have a companion.
Yeah, you do. I mean, your heroic
course,
destiny.
companion.
You have more than companion. You have like a life partner at this
I was gonna
point,
say
right?
that's the words I was gonna use. Too.
Yeah.
We brought Kit back to the shelter.
It
didn't work out.
Kit's like, well, Kit even was like, listen, these guys are really dangerous. I'm like, not into it.
They're a
all
little
right.
intense.
Yeah, I want to like be comfortable. Okay, so Sage, Nassim, who would like to speak next about your level up?
I can.
Okay.
I've got, I decided to take an extra level in Druid, so I can move from a little budding Druid to a blossoming Druid.
Yeah, you can wild shape now, right?
I can wild shape now. Oh my god.
Oh my
And
God.
I get an extra first level spell slot, which is
Cool.
nice.
Yes, hell yeah. Do you know what spell you're looking at? I know druids, they don't have to pick their spells, but are their spells or gravity? And also, second level as a druid, because we're still doing 5e for that, you get to pick your subclass, right? So your druid circle.
Not yet.
Oh no, you're right. Druid circle. Yes, yes.
Oh.
You're right.
Yeah, in 5e.
But I am
TOV,
I am
it's all
taking-
standardized to third, but we haven't switched
Silly.
over quite yet, but we'll get there, probably. But
And I'm also going to be taking from our Venture Maidens campaign guide,
hell
Druid
yeah.
Circle of the Grove,
hell yeah.
which I had that up.
Yeah, you get some
Where?
sick. It's the
It's
leaf
cool as
song
shit.
nature.
Where did it go?
Alright.
Too many tabs. Too many tabs.
I know. I'm like,
Really too
oh
many
yeah,
tabs.
Circle the Grove. So you get Leaf Song. You also get your Sacred Grove ability, which is huge
Yeah.
for you. If you're on the PDF, it's page 29.
Yeah, so the Leaf Song is essentially the ability that Tony already has right now, thanks to the gift of that flower pendant her mother gave her, where she had charges she could speak to
So
plant
I will
life,
say,
like we just
here's
did.
the difference. Because your Leaf Song allows you to talk to plants. The Speak with Plant spell actually allows you to command them. So if you run into plants that aren't, like, aligning with what you want, you can force
Right.
them to untangle, like, if a foe is grappled. So if plants are resistant to you, like, that is the spell you need to use to make them. But
Yeah,
Leaf
but
Song
this
is
is
just...
useful in that I don't need to cast, I don't need to use a charge, but I get to learn more about that plant, what's happened in the surrounding area, like recently.
Yeah.
So it's nice, it's useful.
Yeah.
And Sacred Grove is I can imbue my surroundings with vitality to temporarily create a magical pocket grove. And
So basically, like, essentially with this, you use an action and you can summon a circle around yourself, which is awesome if you don't move during combat, which is really helpful for you as a fighter, because usually you're going to be there in the tank spot. You can use an action to summon that, and within the certain radius, you get to pick one of the following effects. You can do the Tangleweed effect, which basically grapples and restrains everyone around you. You can do the Wildflowers, which helps you with spell, like resistances and such. Or you can do a Tree Line, which helps, like, incoming attacks, helps you deflect. So, you basically...
we are
yeah.
becoming one with our surroundings.
You summon nature to you, and you're like, hey, babes, help me with the world. Yeah. Some good-ass shit. Whatever. I'm biased, obviously, but yeah. Gonna be very good for you as a tank. This is a very nice combination for you, certainly.
Dreams are coming true.
It's all coming true. Hell yeah, man. Cool. So we've got some great shit happening in terms of leveling. So again, as we're flashing. Oh yeah.
And Sage.
Oh god, we didn't even do Sage. You guys rock. You'll be so much more powerful. I have to use Tales of the Valiant Monsters, obviously, from now until forever.
So for Aoife, we're sticking with Bard. So now she is a level 8 Bard, which means that we get our second ability score or feat. So we decided to get the ability score increase, bump that charisma all the way up to a hot 20. So now
It's so hot.
we've got our spells are just a little bit juicier.
No matter if you're mortal, you're fey, you're just gorgeous, babe.
And with that, a charisma score increase, that means we get another use of our bardic inspiration per short rest.
So good.
Our animating performance, the hit points go up from 45 to 50, so now I can tank 50 hit points for me. Yeah, bitch.
Are you serious? 50? I didn't even know it was 45 before. That's like stupid. I mean, I knew I never brought it down, but damn, kid. All right. No, I'm here for it. Yeah. Okay. What else? Shit.
And then we get an extra 4th level slot, and we got to pick a new spell, and we picked a spell from the Venture Maidens campaign guide, which is a level 3 enchantment spell called Arresting Caress.
Oh no, that's a really good spell. All right, yeah.
Can you tell me all about it? I don't know what that does.
Listen, it was JB Little who designed that spell. I did not design that spell, so it's his fault.
Thank you, partner!
Thank you.
So it is an action to cast, and it lasts for concentration up to a minute. And so as long as you are touching them, you lock eyes with a creature and you touch them, and you make an ability check with your spellcasting ability modifier, which is contested by the target's charisma check. If I win the contest, the creature is stunned.
Oh god. Yeah, that's why it's... yeah.
And on subsequent rounds, as long as I remain in contact with the target, and I can use my action to maintain control over them. And if they take damage while under the effect of this spell, then I take twice as much psychic damage, and the spell ends.
Yeah.
So I get to hold someone down.
So, yeah, very unlikely to hit you. Damn, that's a good spell. I remember thinking that when I put it in the book, and here it is. No, that's awesome. Especially if you're in your Fae form when you cast it, and like how hard that'll be to overcome. Yikesy boy. Good. Yeah, no, I love it. I'm really excited.
And that is everything she gets.
Okay.
Damn, and then you can like create that thing that you made in the last battle, and you could just stand there while that thing does your fighting on like somebody else.
Oh no, it's a good build. Yeah, Katie. I don't think anyone. I think Sage, as a deck master of the magic, is well aware of the combo. Yeah, no, it's good. I feel really great about it and not scared at all. Yeah. So good job, everybody, with the level ups. I think I think this will be great. But yeah, like navigating, circling back to where we were. We are here in this battlefield, moment at the end of this, and Tony, you were talking to this gate. That clearly betrayed you with their cowardice before at the end. And I think, Tony, there's a moment when you kind of stagger back from that. And I'm not sure your companions see it or anything, but maybe it's because you're in the Feywilds. Maybe it's because of this feeling that comes over you, but you find yourself immersed in a dream. And you're in a dream because you have that distinctive feeling of being like that third party, almost like a camera outside of yourself. And you're looking down at yourself as you are riding across this golden plain, seeing like sheaves of wheat, whip against the wind, that shimmering effect that you've gotten so used to, growing up in the shifting plains. That rainbow cascade up above, and the sun is setting, so it's casting that blood-red, beautiful crimson tone over everything you see. And this is your favorite time of day to ride, that, that transition just before, like, as the sun is setting, but it's not quite down. And that feeling of utter peace that comes over you as there is nothing but you and golden horizon and sky in front of you. And there is this pulling feeling, almost like a vortex inside yourself, as like the golden sky and everything, it twists, it suddenly becomes strange and unfamiliar for a moment as it overwhelms you and you feel yourself heaving with the heat of it all and the strength and just the breath, the continuation you need to continue on and carry this great weight in front of you. And you realize the feeling isn't coming from above. It's not, you can't see the horizon. Your eyes are in front of you as you are looking at the golden ground, and you are full of this feeling of commitment, of responsibility, of a bond to protect something weaker than you, something you are carrying so desperately on your back. A great weight, but a comfortable one. A partner, as you see the stretching ground before you. And the tones of gold and red aren't really acknowledged in it, but the smells, the feeling of life, that sweat, that scent of the earth, of everything around you, and that feeling of purpose is nothing you've felt before. And as you look up and you feel yourself rear your head back and you see, a pale green hand, and kind of it nuzzles like the end of your nose, right? And a feeling of comfort and warmth and kinship moves over you. And you realize your eyes are not of the rider, but of the beast, the mount below. And you suddenly understand so completely and absolutely what you have learned, of what you've been taught to learn your whole life, as you're thrown back into your sad and limited humanoid body, what it was like to be free, to be wild, and to choose, to honestly choose who it was that was your partner. So you're thrown back into yourself and just have a very clear understanding of what it was like to be wild, to bear a wild shape.
That was incredible. I have achieved ultimate horse girl form.
Yeah, you have. You understood. Just even for a glimpse. And it must have happened in less than 30 seconds, because you're looking around and your companions are like, you cool? As you just kind of froze there in front of this great gate. And it was so different, right? You were talking to these plant forms and you felt them, you understood them, and have come to know them. This is something your mother has taught you, right? But plants are rigid and they're structured and chemical in a weird way, right? It's all so organized and rational, but this moment, this shape, it's like something you felt with Arrow, but so much more than that, being that. It spoke to you in a very real way you were able to understand immediately.
She's shaking. She turns around to look at the rest of her party to see if anyone noticed if anything is different. I think her body,
you feel a hand on you, as actually Ravane, who's probably the only one more in tuned with a soldier's, actual shaken. He's, are you all right?
I feel incredible. I mean, I know I just got shit knocked out of me, but I don't know. I've had a vision of something wild, absolutely, truly, deeply wild and free, and I I think I know how to find it again, but I'm not sure what that means.
Many things
I-
are found in the field of combat. You have survived much. I would suggest in this place, infused with magic that is amplified, and embrace it.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually not the first time I've experienced something like that after being out here for so long.
Then
I guess it's not done
even
with me yet.
more so, I'm not sure what your culture spins about the world of the Fae, but my roots, at least, we were born from this magic, and it touches us some in our daily lives, but I would not be surprised in any way if all mortal kind were affected similarly. I think, and I've only been here but minutes, I feel much of my true self being revealed from moment to moment that passes.
Yes, that's exactly what it feels like.
He kind of, like, braces your shoulder in that way, like, good sport. Right? And looks around, he sighs. It is strange and uncomfortable and comfortable at the same time.
Certainly is.
I think I owe you thanks again for bringing me here. Again, it's been but moments, but a lot feels clear. Clearer than it's been in a long time.
I'm glad you're here. Clearly, you're a boon to us. You carried yourself so well in that fight.
And you all are a boon to me. You have taught me so much in mere moments. And he, like, raises a dagger to his head and, like, bows down. A gesture of ultimate respect. This is not something a normal soldier does. This is an officer's respect from one to another.
Wow. Yeah, she salutes
Nothing that's
him
ever
and-
been done to you, certainly. Or shown to you.
Yeah. She's like stunned and frozen for a second and tries to reciprocate with a salute, and then is like, wait, should I do it back? And tries to do it back with her sword.
He
It's like,
holds a hand. No. It's a gift, not a formality.
all right, Captain. Savage.
He says, that is so ridiculous I could not even pass it up. But hearing it, my God. Your friend, please, are you injured? Are you injured, by the way?
I'm a little roughed up, but I'm not.
He will
I'm not in any way shape.
catch your wrist in a moment and heal you for 20 HP.
Ooh.
Goddamn.
Well, thank
Fucking
you.
paladins, man. Those hands.
Those holy rollers. They be what they be.
Beautiful. How is everyone else doing?
Yeah,
Aoife.
seriously. I've got 15 more points with my lay on hands.
I think Aoife's in most need here.
Yeah, he will go over to Aoife, who is stuffing her guts back within herself. Though also Rook is pretty fucked up, yes?
She's
also
got
have
like
a healing
20
potion.
something left, but I feel like after all of that, if this is,
Aoife's probably more. Yeah.
we should probably go in and take a short rest before we go. We can't just show up like this to something that's been akin to like a royal court. We look a mess.
Yeah, I agree for what that is worth. Whatever we can do, if we think we can afford the time, though, of course, I do not presume to know how dangerous it is to stay here.
We'll be okay if we're back in the house.
If you do not mind me asking, this interloper, do you know who they are or where they are from? It seems they are desperately interested in at least the Blossom Court or our mission here. I fear they may be a threat to the Sarina, something worth reporting. He like levels an eye like, fuck guys, it seems like this is bigger than you said. He looks...
Aoife will urge them back towards in the house, and she says, waiting to carry on the conversation because you never know who's listening when we're out.
Yes.
When we're speaking out in the Feywilds. And so
when you're inside, it's just fucking Gordon.
Oh.
it's just Gordon.
But he can't leave,
Yeah.
Which
Who's
is
he
great.
gonna tell? He's not got friends.
He's not a friend, but he can't leave, so...
And so as we take the moment and kind of settle back into into Cooper and get a moment to lay down our stuff, freshen up, and as hostile as an actress that was, and we've not met them before, but they are emissaries from another court, the Forest Court, which deals with the forest creatures, anthropomorphic creatures, all of the fauna, that as a juxtaposition to all the flora of the Blossom Court.
So
And
there's a flora court and a fauna court, and forgive me, I did hear you mention in negotiations a dreaming court and someone named...
so there are 7 Fey courts.
All right.
Oh boy, I'm gonna go put on the tea.
There might
He's
actually
like, shit.
there might actually be more, but main ones who are really vying for power.
I see.
They don't represent all of the Fae, but a fair portion. There are other Fae who are not affiliated to any courts. And then there are, of course, the changelings, who are mortals who have found themselves in the wilds for one reason or another. And because of the magic of the wilds, it permanently changes their form, so they have these different mutations, for lack of a better word, from the magic changing their flesh.
Like you changing from Fae to mortal?
Not quite. I made a deal to get my powers. But, for example, if we were to just walk around in the wilds for days, we would be changed.
Then perhaps like your friend, who is clearly aged multiple years since I saw her. And Rook, looks down and away, deeply ashamed that anyone has even noticed. By the way, she's probably 40, 41 at this point. So not a hugely noticeable difference to literally anyone except apparently this man, who has somehow noticed a degree of 2 or 3 days.
She'll say, not quite again, but, people tend to,
My
grow
apologies.
mushrooms or butterfly antenna or weird kind of stuff like that.
There's a whole group of them. They're extremely delightful people. And honestly, we found out from them it's not that hard to stave these changes off. You can literally just get a kiss from one of them and you won't become one.
I am ashamed that I have so much to learn and keep discovering things from minute to minute. and my people have assumed so much. Please, I'm sorry. Continue.
I mean, there's still so much that we're learning, and we just learned of what the Forest Court sovereign's name is, the Huntress. And you now have an invitation to her court to speak with her on these matters of dealing with Hecate, who is the sovereign of the Celestial Court. It definitely means that rumors are being spoken of what we're trying to do. And that's good and bad, but we can get ahead of it.
Yes, it is actually comforting to know that there is some kind of court structure. That is something I am very used to, something the Empire is actually quite used to. So if there is a division, as you speak, it is, of course, only logical that there are different groups, factions, wants, desires, of course, of a more magical nature than what we are used to, but I am, I suppose, weirdly happy to find there is some kind of ground to learn, to understand it. It gives us a basis. I never knew before hearing from the Serena that there was anything like an organization or structure. I'm ashamed to admit I heard the word fae and thought only of monsters.
I think that the time for feeling shame needs to be put behind us, and the time for learning is what we should focus on. I think that it's great that you're open to taking this information in and not just saying that it's all bullshit, because many people would not in the Empire.
Well, many people have not been given the chance. Our history is not exactly one of diplomacy or conversation or discussion. While I understand deeply many have reacted poorly, I perhaps I beg you to understand where those people might have been coming from. I feel shame not because of what is reality, but because my due as a leader has not been adequate to educate or prepare them for this. So much could have been avoided just in the few days I have spent by your side. It's heartbreaking to know what I know now and reflect on the past. I'm not sure.
Captain,
I'm sorry, yes.
it's really quite inspiring to hear you say these words, especially for someone like me. Still have a lot of reservations about the Fae, and granted, yeah, we have a lack of education on the matter, but we also have our own life experiences that have informed us. So I think you can go a little bit easier on yourself, if you don't mind me saying. We've experienced what we've experienced. It left us with an impression, and we're learning to do better, right? And frankly, the Fae keep their cards very close to the chest, and they have purposely kept us in the dark. It isn't just a one-sided choice to remain in the dark. This is how we're going to bridge our worlds together. It's going to help everyone involved. You can't take all that heat.
Then I would like to formally say, of course, I was sent here by the Tsarina, and of course, I am her emissary and would do anything she asks. But beyond that, for whatever it means, whatever small token it means, this man's soul and ambition are completely allied with what you are doing. I think I have personally come to understand the gravity of what my lady has sent me here to do, which may mean little on paper, but means the world to me.
And in this, I know we have no greater ally on this diplomatic mission, and that you'll be able to carry this message forward.
Good.
But let's take a moment to collect ourselves, because
Certainly. I am more than grateful you have this strange little house to shield you. Again, if we had such assets, I feel many problems would be avoided. In my line of work, I might even be out of a job.
I don't think that you're ever gonna get fired. You're too much of a good bean. And Lou like pats his face.
No, it is the goal of, well, good military leaders to one day be out of a job, isn't it?
Well, then let it be for retirement.
I'll hope for that. I'll see you there, Luvia Seth. From an elf to an eldrin.
Well, when I am retired, you best become a regular at my restaurant.
Oh, certainly. If you your restaurant serves anything like you cook, certainly.
Better spend that pension. And she's gonna go and grab herself a snack, and she's gonna be like, kind of like wave this scroll over to Rook, and she's like, "Hey, do you want to go discuss this little thing that happened in this fight?"
Yeah, what's that? She's like, fine to do it here, I guess, in front of everybody. She crosses her arms again.
Well, they told us that you got cursed. I didn't see anything. This scroll will remove the curse if you want. But that's up to you. That's your choice. I mean, you've already been a werewolf in Penny's world. Maybe it's what you're supposed to do. I don't know, girl, but
She looks at you with genuine surprise. You think, I'm not cursed. Well, I mean, not by that. I can't be cursed by that.
how do you know?
What do you mean? How do I know? Like, I am cursed. I'm a curse walking around. There's not. Would you be a stupid curse? Like lycanthropy? Like, are you serious? I am a literal curse. My whole fucking existence is a curse. That was like nothing.
I don't know. I mean, if that's what you say, I believe you. I've literally been a wizard for like a day. Like, I don't know all
You
these
think you're gonna
things
hand
yet.
me some fucking piece of paper and say, "Hey, Rook, you're good"? That's not a fucking real
I
thing.
thought it was
I'm a
for a
literal
werewolf.
curse. My whole being is a curse. Are you fucking serious? You think I would know if some stupid fucking curse? I'm not like fucking Efo with some goddamn
Okay, all right.
higher
Rook,
being in
hey,
my pocket
hey,
being like, "Hi,
chill.
no, do whatever you want."
Tony is walking up in the middle and trying to like you know when the bro steps in front of the other bro to be like, "Hey man, calm down,
Yeah,
relax."
yeah, and she's like at your collar, like what, you know, and she's like 40, 45 at this point, like in that range, so she's tall. She's like equal to you.
Lou didn't
and
create. Yeah. Lou didn't create that fucking scroll. That goddamn werewolf, whatever, lycanthrope, handed it to her. All right. Maybe she was talking about the curse you're currently dealing with. We don't know. She gave it to
There's
us
no
to try and help you.
fucking scroll that could solve
Then burn
what this
it.
is.
Burn it, but keep this shit in check, please. Do whatever you want with it. She was trying to keep you informed. If you don't give a shit, then let it be done.
Fine, I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want. Like you've done from the minute you came into my life. Do whatever the fuck you want.
I think Aoife takes that as being directed at her,
Oh, yeah.
and she just storms out of the house.
Cool. Cool. You know what? Follow your faith fucking leader. Follow whatever the fuck. You know what? Because she's in charge now. Follow whatever sleeping court bullshit you want to do. That's fine. Being mortal is fucked anyway. I'm on your team, bros. She says, gives you finger guns. Is like, I'm out of here. Okay? I'll show up. I'll fight your battles until I die. Maybe. Hopefully. But that's the best I got. So bang, bang, bang. Fuck you all. And like middle fingers. And she's like, if you'll let her go, Tony, she's gonna try and walk upstairs.
Oh, she can leave.
Yeah. Yeah, so she kind of pushes you off. Gently, it's not like a whole push off, but like a pissed off teen. She's up the minute Aoife's out the door.
Lou just sets the scroll on the table and like exhales deeply, and she's like, I just wanted a fucking tea break. And she's like, all right, Aoife, time to go after Aoife. And she's just like, Ravane, you're on kettle duty.
Yes, of course.
Tony, do you want to come with?
I think everyone wants some space right now. Feel free. I don't think Aoife should be crowded either. Go. I think you're better at that stuff. Go ahead and talk to her. I'm going to be here in case Rook comes back, but either way, I'm not going after her. She needs some time by herself.
I'll just see if that's what she wants and if it's what she wants.
Oh, Katie.
No.
Froze.
You
Oh,
froze,
there we
Katie?
go. Katie.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a little freeze. We're like, no.
It's not Aoife that I'm not going after. Aoife, I'm leaving alone to you because you're better at that. I'm not going after Rook.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, Rook needs some. Lou already talked to her today. She doesn't need another Lou talk right now. So she's gonna just go after Aoife to see if she's okay and see if she can talk to her about anything. And if she doesn't want, she wants space, then she can have it too. But always to check.
All right. I'll be here if you need anything, okay?
Yep.
Rain's like,
Sounds good.
me, that's, well, though, clearly, yeah, but he's like making himself busy. He's like, I'm not going here, but in case you need me, is the vibe.
Oh, God. Lou's gonna, as she like slams the door as she's walking out, she's like, fucking family. And she will go and see if she can find Aoife.
I think Aoife has stormed off and she finds the nearest climbable tree within reach, and she takes comfort in seeing this great big wide-reaching willow tree, and she hoists herself up into its branches, nestled in the canopy, kind of hidden from sight. Hidden, I say with quotes. And she is sitting on a branch with her knees tucked up tight to her chest, and she has like, you know, especially after just getting fresh out of fighting and scrabbling through the dirt to try and pull her way away from that boar. She has this hangnail in one of her fingers, and it's, it's a point where it's long enough where it's, it's going to catch on everything and be irritating, but it's going to be really deep, and just in this moment of pure impulse, she just like bites down and tears it off, and it suddenly her nail bed is just pooling with blood as that pain just sings through the neurons in her fingertips. And she's just sitting there, and she's just watching this blood pool and then drip off her thumb onto the tree. And she's shaken out of this moment as she hears Lou's footsteps approaching. And she wraps up her hand.
Lou kind of like looks around, and after not immediately seeing her, she's like, "If you want to be found, come down. Lou, don't climb."
And you hear this loud sniff as she wipes away some snot from under her nose, and she wipes away her tears. And you see her pop off of a branch onto the ground. She says, "I'm safe. Fine. Just needed a moment. Lou, I don't know what I'm doing wrong with Rook. I mean, I get that she's probably mad about the Fae thing, because deals and her experience and everything, but then she harps on me, harps on me to get away, to fix it, to get it under control. And I do, and then she's also mad at me. So everything I do, she hates. And I don't know what to do with that. I don't think I can travel with her anymore."
I understand that your relationship is very difficult. I don't even know that, I feel like ours has gotten better just recently between me and Rook, but you were there. It was kicking and screaming till that point. And even now, it's still kicking and screaming. Rook is somebody who put every single bit of themselves, their entire being, their entire essence on the line for one special thing in their life. And it was taken away from them. And she can't let go, because every single day that she ages and she feels death creep closer to just do it again, she's reminded that her leap of faith failed. And it is going to take something close to a miracle for her to move on from something completely life-shattering like that. And that's not an excuse to be, frankly, a complete bitch sometimes. But I can still see that it all comes from a place of horrendous, horrible grief for something that she can never have again. And if you can't travel with her, then I understand. It is difficult, but I think that before you make that decision, you should have a face-to-face with her. And if it's yelling and screaming again, that's fine, but you guys need to have the conversation and each come from a place of understanding each other's goals and each other's grief for all the things that you're going through and feeling. At this point...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. At this point, it's just tense. It's fucking tense. And it's not a fun place to be. But I've got to tell you, you've met Lark, completely beautiful human. I've broken her nose. And she did not speak to me until it was perfectly mended. And through the whole time, I wanted to fucking break more than just her nose because she was handling it so poorly. But when you decide to make that commitment as a family to one another and love people regardless of all their straight up fuckery, it is something that is forged in more than blood, anything like that. It's something that's worth fighting for and trying even when it's bullshit.
She has this look on her face, like when you said that you all have to come together and hear each other's pain out. She looks at you like, do you know who you're talking about?
You know what I've gone through a bit? Yeah.
And she circles around and she throws her arms down, but she's listening, and she finally stops circling. She stops in front of you and she says, I will give Rook one conversation. And if we can't find some kind of common ground out of that, I'm out of here.
That's fair. I think that's perfectly fair. And if you'd like, I can let her know that this is serious before she just lets out all of her feelings in one big word vomit, as she's known to do. Because I think that she's just going to keep pushing because she's waiting for people to leave her. And she wants to set that up because she loves to set herself up for failure. So, I don't know. There just needs to be some gravity in it that we're willing to try, but we need to be met halfway. I feel like I've already had that conversation with her, but maybe it's time for you guys to have that same moment. And if it doesn't happen, what more can you do?
Well, I'll never know the full extent of everything she's gone through because I haven't seen it, I haven't lived it. But that's not to say we all haven't hard lives. Just because you've experienced tragedy and hardship doesn't give you an excuse to be an asshole. I mean, fuck.
Baby, I know it. I literally told her the same thing. And in that moment, she said, I was like, who knows who's doing it right here? And she said that she thought I was. So that's what gives me a glimmer of hope. If she genuinely feels like she wants to try to handle her grief more like me and pour that emotion into the people that actually matter in her life, if she wants to give that a try genuinely, then I want to give her that chance. And I'm not saying that you should hold back on your feelings either at all. What she said is uncalled for, and she's not giving you even a chance to have your side be seen. She's only considering it from her perspective, I know. But it is what it is. All we can do is try.
All right. I'll try. For you, for your sake, for Tony's sake, for the mission's sake.
And that's why we love you. And like Lou, kind of shimmies in, and she's like, no, come on, I need to give you a hug so I can squish your guts further back into you.
She did has that kind of annoyed teenager look, ugh, fine. I guess we can hug it out.
Oh, how similar you have suddenly become to young Rook, I see. Who is now in her, late 40s, 50s, but still. Yeah. So you have that. And I think while this conversation is happening, in real time, it's Tony and Ravane kind of sitting down in the living room. I think Ravane is trying to make himself, like that friend who's there when friends are fighting, like, or in a relationship, and you're like, all right, yeah, you invited me to your party, and there's clearly a breakup happening, so I'm just trying to be okay about it.
Oh.
So yeah, Tony, what are you doing? Like Ravane is sort of following your lead, because clearly they're your friends. So he's, I think, playing second fiddle to whatever you're doing.
Probably drinking.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we had the teapot on, we got tea ready.
We
for
only had a
everyone
short
else.
rest, so
it was
this is a
short,
fucking hard
yeah.
fight,
So
right? So
I'm pouring a couple of shots into my tea. I'm asking,
Yeah.
like, you want to wet your whistle a little
yeah.
bit?
Oh,
like,
yes, of course. Yeah. No, good fight. Cheers. That's all.
Cheers, yes, to our captain,
Sort of
the savage.
Thing.
Huh.
Lord. All right. Yes. Thank you for that.
Listen, the cat's come out of the bag and it's not going back in.
No, that. Sorry. And again, like I said, hell of a nickname. I much prefer it to some of the other things I've admittedly been called. Do you mind if I ask you a question, though?
Yeah, please.
Just based on what I've seen, your Rook and you and I, we are clearly of a fighting class. People trained to be soldiers from birth, I think it's safe to say. What is it? Perhaps this is a strange question, but it's something I tend to do. However short I spend a time with people, it's the way they fight. It tells me a lot about them. Your friend Rook, where was she trained? It's clear her life was primarily about fighting, primarily about combat. But I do not recognize it from the Empire, from anywhere else. Where was she trained? For what purpose?
Do I actually know that?
No.
Yeah, there's a lot about Rook that we don't know. There's a lot that she's kept from us. I know that she isn't mortal like us.
No. She fights
no.
very much like a human. Well, I mean, in terms of, I suppose, day to day, but her general strategy, tactics, I've fought humans from the east, from the south, even from the north in campaigns, but some of what she employs, it's simply not tactics or strategies I've seen. It's very much self-sacrificing, something honestly I wouldn't even expect from the finest troops I've had in my employ. Certainly nothing to do with military training. It's all on the line all the time. But it's disciplined. So it must be training from somewhere. No one fights with that anticipation to die, I suppose, without a very intense regiment.
Well, all I know of Rook is that she is Fae herself and has given a lot of sacrifices in the past that has turned her into something else, not quite fae, not quite mortal, um, and doesn't really trust herself, I think, as a result, or anyone around her, the fae, even us who have been traveling and working with her for weeks and weeks.
Are you
I don't know that we've even gained her trust, so.
are you sure the way she leaves herself open to attack and directs her fire? I could have sworn she was a personal bodyguard or something to any one of you. That is strange to know. No soldier in my employ, maybe in the Queen's Guard, might have fought like that, but no one else. Constantly open to attack. I mean, you must have realized it. She seems to be guarding you for the most part.
Well, now she's just deflecting. I think that's just because I'm trying to guard everyone else a lot of the time. So I kind of put myself in harm's way and to some degree, and I don't know. Listen, a wall for the wall. I haven't
Okay.
really thought about it very much.
He kind of curls a smile up to, one side of his lips. Ah, you haven't thought about it very much.
The fuck you smiling about?
You say that to him?
Yeah, but like,
Oh, let's just say I've lived a long time, and I've served alongside a great many people. And some have become very close and dear to me. And it's something you tend to recognize in one person to another, one soldier to another. It's... Some people are meant to follow. And I say this with no regret, no shame. Some people live their entire lives to protect and support another, and it gives us great meaning, great purpose. It's just something I feel you should know, that there are some of us out there who feel that way.
yeah. I mean, I understand that.
And some of us are leaders who inspire such admiration. He kind of, pats like a fatherly hand, like on the edge of a table or your knee, before going up and kind of picking up a pot of tea to fill it for you, perhaps, or himself.
Pours another shot and takes it immediately.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
And then Lou, comes walking back into the house. Is
Aoife
Aoife
in tow.
following? Yeah, Aoife in tow. So yeah, Ravain and Tony are kind of staring at each other from across the way.
Lou gets inside and she just is like, well, I am going to take my tea. Thank you, Ravain.
Oh yes, of
And-
course. He goes over and pours it immediately.
I am going to go put on my Aoife original and get fancy for this shit. And then I'm going to not talk because I have a potty mouth. So I'll see you bitches later. She grabs her mug and goes to her room.
So it's only a short rest, so Aoife, you can choose to speak or not. It is completely up to you. Either way, we can advance the episode.
I think it's still too fresh right now for both Aoife and Chase the Specs for Rook, and that if she were to go and approach right now, it probably would just make things worse. And so she's going to give them both some time to cool down and come at it later.
Sure. All right, so at the end of the long rest, do you all feel ready and willing to go into the Blossom Court as a unified whole?
Question.
Yes.
Since we're taking our short rest and Lou didn't get down any hit points, can I use the short rest to use an hour to make my familiar?
Hell yeah, dude. Let's do it. Let's describe that ritual to me and describe your familiar, please. Your sweet boy. Thank you.
Yes. So Lou will go into her room, and after Aoife had created her new look for her, she'd like kind of helped clean up after, and she'd taken all those little scraps of pink fabrics and stuff off the floor because she's a hoarder. And she has like being a virtuoso.
Yeah.
She's like kind of been watching Aoife work, and so she's definitely not a seamstress, but she's picked up a few basic stitches that she uses to take these scraps and sew together like this little rudimentary, almost plushie of a rabbit. And she goes ahead and just like stares at it, and she like sets it down for a second and then goes to her book that she'd been working on, and takes it from her shelf, and it looks like a pink version of the Better Homes cookbook. And it's
Amazing.
and it smells distinctly of a bottle of vanilla that she spilled on it while she was doing her studying.
Yes.
And through all the little pages where she's written down all of her new spells, there's like little recipes jot down, and she finally finds the one to create her familiar on the same page as a recipe for strawberry rhubarb pie that she written up. And she goes ahead and sits down in front of it, and she begins to close her eyes, as inexperienced as she is. And as they're closed, the smells of a hot strawberry rhubarb pie fill the room as it bakes and creates this little creature. And when she opens her eyes in a poof of pink glitter, she's holding an all-white snowy rabbit with red eyes that match her own.
Oh. What's precious about this is one of the Tales of the Valiant components is like a form, like a puppet or a shape or a figure that looks exactly like your thing. So I imagine you had to actually bake like a whole rabbit shaped like puff patry, like sculpt it so it's amazing. So as you take it, you know, it's like, and you see the crust like and turns to that white, and it goes like with the little rabbit like as it like boops her nose. It boops your nose, and its little, like, white paws reach out, and they're like, want to hug you immediately. And also, this is the fattest rabbit you've ever seen. It's not like a normal rat. It is like those Lapland size, huge, like 15-pound cat sized, like rabbits. As you're like, oh god, like way bigger than you anticipated it being, with the floppy ears, and like it's just like ruffling against you. And obviously as part of this ritual too, you had to spend like blood, right, to like be part of it. And you just you have a sense, like this little psychic feeling, like, you know, what you might feel for a child, except literally amplified, because wherever you go, wherever this rabbit goes, you can actually feel it, because it is literally a part of you at all times. So it's snuffling against you.
Lou's eyes light up, and she gives it like the biggest hug, and she's like, we're gonna get you even fatter.
Yeah, so you have that little feeling here, and after all of that drama and everything, and you get Rabbit, you all are down there once again at that point and ready to pass through this gate. Ready to go, boys and gals.
Yeah, Lou just nonchalantly walks out and she's like, "This is Rhubarb, protect him with your life." Goes to light him at the door.
All right, of all the things we've had to accept,
There's
past
another
few days,
animal.
Oh,
Tony loses her mind.
my God.
He's like, oh my God, he's so big and fluffy and fluffy.
Literally perfect.
Even Rook looks a little like, oh, really cute. That's it. That's all. That's all you get. But holy shit, it's a very cute, very fat white rabbit. That's amazing.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm calm. It's just perfect. It's the best thing I've ever created. Anyway, let's go do this, motherfuckers. Are we all dressed up?
Whatever, I baked it. It's fine. As you step out and like back towards that stupid vine gate, the flowers are like, oh, well, it feels like the least we can do to like let you through after you like fought all those animals. So yeah, okay. And like open up towards you, and the like golden gate just swings open on either side, and the flower will send sort of a last warning to you, being like, just be really polite or not, and then we'll get to eat you either way. You feel the smile.
Thanks for the advice.
Lou gives
Sick of these
major
fucking
side eye to this fucking flower.
Yeah. Carry on. The warning as you step up. And as you do, you all kind of wander right into this like jungle-like environment that you're used to, being like, okay, trees all over the place, fucking moss, not much or whatever, right? And as you're winding through the dim light, feeling less and less good about your choices, all of a sudden, the path opens up, you turn a corner, and you're like in this bright, shining, sunlit kingdom of plants all around you. Again, Nassim, wow, what? Magical colors, trees, plants, like flowers as big as your entire body growing on either sides of you. And all of you, regardless of your ability to speak to plants, hear the whisper of, welcome from these flowers as they're like shuffling in the breeze right under this blue sunlit sky that you've not been used to, with all of this oppressive like tree cover here, as you find yourself walking through this long, like detailed, beautiful, immaculate orchard that just, feels like it's for a giant. So everything around you is so huge and like out of your control. And you hear a ba-ba-ba-ba of like horns coming from either side, and this procession of viney shaped plant people starts coming towards you, each of them with different like radiating flower heads. You're reminded of like when you met Dandelion way back in the day, all of their like the plant vine bodies as they're moving forward with the different like bloom shaped heads, saying, welcome, welcome, in a language you can understand. And one comes forward with this, like, beautiful, orchid style, like, pale pink head, and bows gracefully to you. Really elaborate, outrageously long bow. And says, hello. You are the mortals who have been invited to see the queen, are you not? And raises a little leaf hand in front of their face very dramatically.
Yeah, Aoife does an equally dramatic and just reverent bow in response, like swooshing up her skirts.
Make me a performance check.
Oh, girl.
Oh, yes, well, come on.
Right.
As they're all, yes, extremely high fashion, dramatically raising their leaf in front of their face. That's all you can, like, equate it to.
Oh, yes. We are voguing with using our clothes, and that's a 24.
All right. So you do it successfully. They don't laugh at you. Like, as you go ahead and, like, move their, like, stupid gestures around, you're like, and they do it again. It is such a pleasure to meet mortals who have been welcomed to speak with the Queen. What offering have you brought to speak to the Green Lady? Make me a performance check.
That is 21, and as she just in this spinning motion of reaching back into her bag, twirling forward, completely spreading her skirts out like so that they are flat, and then she stops and she holds out the rose from the Hanging Gardens of Tethys. She says, "We present a rose from a Titan's garden, the Hanging Gardens of Tethys, the last one in existence."
And you see, the fronds come together in front of their mouth, and this one orchid-headed figure, like, takes, like, 6 steps back, like, as they look and speak to a bunch of, like, rose-headed and, like, dandelion-headed and, like, other, like, fine flowers around them. Sorry, I've ripped out my headphones. I was too excited. 1 second. Okay.
The performance arts was too strong.
Right. Other flowers around them. You hear all kinds of flower whispering as they come back forward. Position their flowers and petals around them. It seems your gift is quite acceptable. But why would you think that the Green Lady has any desire to see you?
Well, we are aware of how patient and steadfast and noble the Blossom Court is. And who could be a better first ally against a court who is fickle and seeks the destruction of all others? For who holds faster in a storm than the beautiful Flora? Always bending, always there, always ready to stand against whatever storms may bring.
And you hear as the flower turns and like
Titillated laugh
in the other ears, and you're like, clearly they're talking to each other in a language you can't understand. They breathe on each other because flowers. My lady has been made aware of your advances to court and is willing to accept you based upon her invitation. But of course, and like echoes back, but of course, from a bunch of these other flowers, you must of course first prove yourself, as is tradition. Are you ready to take the 4 trials?
She looks at each of her friends.
Your fighter at least seems well versed in our customs, as Tony is apparently waving her hands in accordance with Nassim.
Yes, that was her hand gesture vogue of approval. Yes, bring on those trials. I know we said a couple episodes ago that was the one to watch. Now this is also the one to watch. If you don't watch
For our voting,
the video streams,
yes.
you should watch this.
At the very least, I'll make some clips.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a whole song and dance happening here by us in the background not doing the discussion to support Eva here.
Yeah.
and I'm
It's
living
all
for
working
it.
for me.
fucking
I'm
love it.
factoring it into advantage, so congratulations. Yeah.
If there are animators at all who listen to this, I'm begging you
Please,
to
this is the
animate this
one.
scene.
This is the one, God.
Oh my god. Yeah, Lou does like a full spin in her poofy dress that Aoife made her and like just lands with a thumbs up.
Ruvain is doing whatever Tony does. Rook is standing in the back, ready to murder anyone. Yeah.
What ready?
Wonderful. So, before we allow you entry, of course, into the outer gardens, where you will proceed to the inner gardens, if you are, of course, deemed worthy. There will be 4, count them, 4 challenges you must survive. So 1, a test of artistry. 2, a test of cunning. 3, a test of valor. 4, a test of virtue. So, little mortal beings, there are 5 of you. Choose which of which will be for the tests. You cannot choose the same, but there are 5 of you and 4 tests, so I suppose there can be 1 double. You have earned enough to make it this far, and of course we will offer you the hospitality of the Blossom Court this evening while you choose. But on the morrow, the Green Lady expects your best performance, and she will not be disappointed. You understand?
Tony wants to lean over while voguing to Aoife. Are these tests just to see the queen? Weren't we invited?
I guess it's tests all the way down.
Oh,
All right,
yes. Don't worry. You were only invited to secure an invitation. That is procedure, after all. Congratulations on making it this far. But of course you cannot see the Green Lady without proving yourselves further. Otherwise everyone, every little bug and speck and mammal would want to see her. Right?
Indeed, it is of the greatest honor to look upon her resplendence, and we shall prove ourselves
Of course
worthy.
it is. And of course you shall, or you shall be destroyed. It is simply that. Politique, you understand, little female? It says in kind of like in a tone of disgust and waves like a leaf back. You all require meat and such, so it shall be waiting for you in the gazebo beyond and other little mortal things like beds and oh god, he like leans back saying yeah, and chamber pots.
Your hospitality knows no bounds.
Yes, of course. We are the Blossom Court, and most hospitable to the desires of all beasts. It smiles at you.
Fabulous.
Good. Your accommodations lie this way, and if you desire anything, please call me by name. And it, like, breathes out, and you receive a very strong and sharp, distinctive smell. So simply speak, and I shall be with you. That is not
Thank you.
something you are physically capable of doing, party. Would you like to say anything about that? Or not?
I can
Just let it go.
recreate the smell with
We're all just like, yeah, totally.
There
That
you
was my
go.
thought.
Prestidigitation will allow you to say the name exactly. Otherwise, you would literally be incapable of doing so.
I'm a wizard now. I've got this.
Yep. So you have to memorize the smell signature because, hello, pheromones with plants is how they
You
communicate.
know what else, Celeste? I'm also a master chef. I will remember the smell.
You will. I'm gonna cook your ass into a souffle so fast, you racist motherfucker. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Well then, clearly you shall not be allowed into the inner garden until you are ready to compete upon the dawn. But in the meantime, feel free to explore the outer garden, you mortals. And if there is anything you need, just ask. My lady has commanded. We are at your disposal. Oh, but we will need, within the mortal hour, your decisions of who will be competing in what. And their formal names, of course, so we can make a proper entrance. It would do no good to have you simply murdered. We must have some fanfare to entertain the people, since all this effort is being expended.
Oh, of course, and you shall have it.
So before you go, as in before this episode ends, a test of artistry, a test of cunning, a test of valor, and a test of virtue. Farewell. And he shuffles off in a pose, and all the courtiers of flower-headed... you have heard them called Magnophyta by a good friend in the past. The Magnophyta head off into a hedge and disappear as the hedge maze kind of closes behind them, leaving you in a literal Grecian-style pavilion with some couches and stuff and a fire pit. And some pots that you assume are probably the chamber pots they mentioned around the space. Otherwise, it's like a very lawn-style, formal garden.
Very cool.
Oh, are we done doing this now?
Oh, I mean, the plants have gone.
I can't stop, yeah.
But here is where, Ravain's like, okay, are we done? Rook has done nothing the entire time, hands by her side.
Well, who will it be? I feel confident with intellect.
I have votes. Yeah, I would say. Wait, but you mean the cunning? That's yours. But that I assume that might be a puzzle, which Katie I know isn't fond of.
Yeah, I'm going to type them once again into the chat. We have artistry, we have cunning, we have valor, and we have virtue. There are intentionally 4 tests, and there are 5 of you. So one of them you can double up on people if you feel there is an NPC that will help you. Or a PC. 2 PCs could be on one you can send
I gotta say, Ravain's moral compass do be due
Yeah.
north.
He
He's
should be
gotta do
virtue.
virtue for
Yeah.
sure. I feel
I
like
would I would feel comfortable in cunning. My stats say otherwise, but Nassim feels comfortable in cunning, and I could do that with you, Lou. And then maybe Rook could handle valor, and obviously Aoife artistry.
are these gonna be like roles or
I will say they
I
will be challenges. Imagine tournament style challenges that will be proposed in front of each of you. A proper medieval tournament, as it were, to win the lady's favor. Because if anything in the Blossom Court is done, it is done appropriately, with much circumstance and effort.
Of course.
Imagine
That's
a
my vote.
medieval fucking tournament for all of these challenges.
oh my
It will not
gosh.
simply be a roll. None of them will simply be a roll. I can assure you of that.
Yeah, that really is the problem. I do really fucking hate puzzles. um
You
But-
don't know what it will be. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, I just worry about Rook's AC. I think that Valor is going to translate to fighting, and she is very squishy in the AC
Also, you
department.
don't have to, if you want to leave out an NPC, or one of you, even. That's totally fine. You could just send in 4 of you and then leave an NPC out or leave a PC out. So if you didn't want one of you to face it, you can send in an NPC for you. I will assure you there will be dire consequences for any of these, as well as great rewards for succeeding any of these.
I could help on either cunning or valor, either one. But my fear is that it might be a puzzle that we can't help you with. That's all.
That's my fear too, Nassim. Yeah. God, I wish that we knew like what the challenges were to prepare
I'm
for them
sure
better.
everyone wishes that. The whole world.
Because then my other thing, no, because Aoife's got to be artistry. Because like Ravain's clearly the strongest out of all of us, so he could do valor. But I don't. We're not putting.
But it's also valor. It's not called strength. I might put to you all. And also, reminder, you're in the Fae. So maybe not literal is the best way to go.
But that's not how my brain works.
Well, think about what you've faced in the Fae so far.
Yeah.
I think you've gathered quite a lot of intelligence about the Fae and their nonsense. So based on that, what do you think? You've been in Penny's realm. You've seen how Penny deals with ideals. You've also been in Coven. You see how they deal with ideals. It's all very storybook. It's all like weirdly literal from time to time. What do you all think? I think trust your instincts.
I have faith in Rook in valor.
After that conversation with Ravain, I feel like she'll do well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can come with me on cunning. I feel like we did. We know. I feel like we did really well while Sage was out doing puzzles together in that weird circus thing that I can't remember the name of right now. So I feel like we might be the dream team. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Okay, so we're saying...
Yeah, I think we can do it.
Aoife for artistry, and then a combo of Tony and Lou for cunning, and then sending Rook for valor, and then sending Ravain for virtue. So
Yeah.
just confirming, we're okay with 2 NPCs taking on 2 of the 4 rituals, which means they're going to be entirely in my hands and my roles. Just confirming we're cool with that.
I mean, yeah, personally, but I'm also curious as to if we'd like more, showtime in those two.
Oh no, I'm perfectly fine to do whatever in terms of showtime. I am perfectly happy to do
I will-
What are
whatever
your
you
thoughts?
say yes to. If you think that Rook is the most valorous person in your party, and you think Ravane is the most virtuous person in your party, absolutely, I am fine to accept that.
I hate what you're doing right now.
I have literally just said what you have said to me. Back
It
to
wasn't
you.
what you said, it was the way that you said it. Celeste.
I have no other way to say it. I am just saying it back to
Okay,
you.
hear me out. My one thing, because we all know I don't want to fucking do a puzzle, but if I have to do a puzzle, I have to do a puzzle, is after that conversation between Tony and Ravane, I feel like Rook could be the most valorous, specifically if she's out there protecting Tony in the way that Celeste described.
All right, I'll go with Valor. Might as well.
I'm probably going to hate myself when I eventually am stuck doing a puzzle probably by myself. But I feel like that's the best answer for Valor after that conversation. I mean, disagree. That's when the DM gives you a bone.
I'm giving you no bones. I literally just read your answers back to you. I
No,
have said nothing to you.
Not even that. You had the conversation before between Tony and Ravane. Very expressly said that she puts herself out there in danger. So, to me, that's Valor. So let's lock it in. Aoife Artistry, Lou Cunning, Tony and Rook in Valor, Ravane in Virtue.
We all
Aye.
cool with that?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Right?
All right. So, with that decision, we're going to kind of end the episode here. Like, as you all are waiting in this pavilion for what comes next. And that is where we are. So we're going to go ahead and end the episode. All right. So thank you everybody so much for listening to Venture Maidens episode 47. It was a thrill to have you here, and obviously big emotional episode, lots of stuff going on. So with that, we're gonna move swiftly along. I don't think we have any specific media announcements for the show, right? Yeah, everybody? I think we're good. Yeah? Okay. All right. So with that, we're just going to move to the end. Thank you, everybody, so much for being here. We always like to take some time to thank our Patreon donors at the highest tiers, our Arnie's cohort, and our fairest drinking mate tier. So thank you, everybody, so much, Debbie, for supporting the show.
Thank you, Curry.
Thank you, Muffin, at the one on Drury Lane.
And thank you, Nissa McKinnon.
Thank you so much, Richie113 on our Discord.
Thank you, Tony.
Our next tier, Farrah's drinking mates. Thank you so much, Nadia.
And thank you so much to Chris.
Thank you so much, Markalai.
Thank you, Fable.
Thank you, Sheepish Gnome.
And thank you, Destiny.
Thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you, Mrem.
Noon from our Discord server. Thank you.
And what's up, Brittany? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ellen at Obsidian Cyrix, the one of the makers, owners of course, the beautiful, wonderful Bermuda Cakes Company. Go get your rum cakes now. We have some special Venture Maidens brands. Check it out in the chat. Link posted here. Support small businesses and us and everything, and get some cake. Amazing.
And thank you to our wiki master, Ben, aka Flower Crown Gaming.
Oh, thank you all. Thank you all, you beautiful, wonderful people. And of course, let's do some outros. I have been your game master, Celeste Conowitch.
Hello, I'm Katie, and I played the very Seth, your wizard.
That's all. That's a good
And
one.
new mom.
Oh yeah.
Wizard, new mom. New bunny mom.
I'm
Hell
going
yeah.
places.
Hell yeah.
I am your new Vogue champion, Nassim Etamad, who played your half-orc fighter and blossoming druid, Tony Silvertail. That's her name.
Hell yeah.
Vogue champion. Fuck yes.
Yes.
And I'm Sage.
Yeah.
Oh, you're Bard. Eva Flannery.
All right. Okay. And until next time, everybody.
Venture
away!
away!
Venture away, everybody. Bye bye. Whoa.